name is Ash, and I'm really excited to have you on here. This is a great opportunity for us to learn about your story and hopefully for you to inspire other people.
Yeah.
And I'm Dylan's counterpart, so I'm one of the coaches at Centsei. I do the quality control and the coach training and all that kind of stuff. It's an exciting role that kind of keeps me engaged with various types of clients, but also the coaches as well.
Very
So what I'm going to do, if you're okay with it, is run you through just some open-ended questions that you can answer, organically, however you seem fit, or deem fit rather, and just kind of talk through your experience at Centsei. And why don't you just I guess, give me a brief intro to who you are, just so I kind of have an idea.
Yeah, so Tina Rose now, 28 years old. I live with my sister in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I can't remember the exact year that I started Centsei, but I believe it was 2021. It was after COVID.
Okay.
And I had just graduated college in 2019, typical student debt,
What?
living at home with my parents, and I just needed kind of a little push to figure out my finances. I needed a little more than just my own motivation. It wasn't working on my own terms, and I wanted to I pretty much just Googled finance classes, and Sensei was one of the first ones that popped up. I'm like, this one, it looks legit. I read the reviews and other stories and went with it. And we kind of started slow. You build your program and figure out what is the most important task to accomplish right now. And for me, it was obviously financial freedom.
Okay.
But it was just figuring out how to manage my finances. I mean, most schools don't teach finance unless you specifically go down that road in college. But I mean, even, high school, grade school, whatever, it's never really a focal point. And it's unfortunate because it should be.
Agreed.
And so I needed a class to help keep me regimented with my finances, and Sensei definitely helped me with that. So Dylan was my coach, and I did the whole program. I think is it a 3-year program? I don't quite remember the details.
Yeah, 24 months, 2 years.
Yeah, 2 months, 2 years. And so I did that, and we met. And anyways, now I'm rambling, but
You're fine.
Back to my focal point of, I wanted financial freedom, graduating with all that debt and having to basically start my life, buy a car. At some point I wanted to buy a house, and having this debt loom over my head it's very, it's hard to kind of take the next step. I mean,
Yeah.
the last thing you want is to keep going into debt. You just say, oh, I'll just add it on. It's not a big deal. What's $200 more a month on a payment, And for me, that wasn't it. And so the first step was eliminating the biggest debt. Your debt snowball. Mine was my school loans, and thanks to Dylan, I got them paid off.
That's awesome.
I think it was just over a year I had them paid off.
Oh my goodness. Congratulations.
And the benefits of living at home with my parents helped that situation.
Totally.
Some people
I empathize with you. So Hannah and I, my wife, we lived with her parents twice as well. And we were able to turbocharge our results very similar to what you were, describing. So I totally know that life, but it sounds like along the way you've made sacrifices,
Yes.
And I agree with you. I mean, so an interesting little fact about me is I came to Centsei as a financial coach already trained. I started when I was active duty in the Navy, but the Centsei program is so robust that I even found myself changing some of my own family's financial practices and kind of, fine tuning and applying some of the Centsei protocols. So Glad to hear that that portion worked out for you as well.
Yeah.
One question I have, like in your mind, what would you say was like the turning point? So like you talked about starting off with this debt and kind of being in like this trap of like, well, I can just keep tossing on additional debt, but then you said something critical, which was that's not for me. So like where was the turning point in your journey where you're like, okay, I'm doing this, would you say?
I don't know that I had like a specific turning point,
Mhm.
but it was mostly it was really just a thing of I didn't want this to keep building and just hanging over my head. I'm just starting my life out, and it's like if I'm already starting with this mountain of debt, how are you supposed to get anywhere? I mean, you're going to have this anxiety hanging in the back of your head the rest of your life. And for me, that wasn't it. And the fact of living at home, that was like, okay, this is my chance now. This is how I can get ahead in life. And God bless my parents. I mean, some people aren't as fortunate to have that kind of opportunity. And so, I mean, it's not that I didn't make sacrifices. I didn't go out and I wasn't spending money on this other wants. And, we kind of split, what are wants and needs. And
Yeah.
I mean, he was incredibly helpful. We kind of listed out like a typical monthly budget. And I was like, well, I spend like $60 on coffee a month. And he's like, yeah, we're going to have to reduce that, like stuff like that. And so, I mean, just, the little things add up, figuring out where your money's going, looking at your statements every month. I mean, most people don't do that. They just go and pay their bill and, that's that. And so figuring out strategies to be financially smart was also very helpful. I mean, so I paid off my school loans. I had bought a car and I paid my car off.
Wow.
And then if the next step was buying a house and getting out of my parents' house, and I was able to successfully finance a house. Now I'm in my own house and I don't have any debt. I pay my credit card bills on time every month. And it's just like, it's so freeing to know that with the financial budget that we kind of set in play, I don't really have to worry about anything significant at the moment because I know I've got, money stashed away here, or, whatever the case may be. And it's just, yeah, it's incredible.
That's a life change, honestly. Like that's inspiring that you were able to do all that and take the next step to buy a home. That's
Right.
phenomenal. I love that journey for you. And okay, so with that, like just talking to you here, I've known you for all of like, I don't know, 10 minutes, but you very much like present like a really intelligent person, like smart, capable, willing to sacrifice. Why coaching? Like how do you feel like the financial coaching aspect helped you? Like, do you think that having guidance was worth it, or do you feel like you were able to kind of do this on your own with a Google search?
I think just having the guidance there was the biggest thing for me, and having somebody else hold me accountable for my decisions. I don't have a significant other, and so it's just me. And to have an outside person check in every month. I mean, even though you do your own financial check-ins, I mean, it's nice to know that somebody else is like, hey, like, let's make sure we're meeting this goal this week, and that helps. And I think, yeah, just the guidance of having somebody there. And, I didn't have much financial knowledge prior to any of this. I knew how to save money and, pay my bills, but learning how to be smart with it and learning just strategic steps to being smart in finance was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, no, I respect that. I think you hit on something really important there for our process, and also like something that I think a lot of my own clients really enjoy, which is making your roadmap, right? Like having all of those steps, because like you said, you came prepared with enough adequate knowledge to where you're like, all right, I'm paying my bills, I'm not, totally underwater, all that. But unless you have a game plan,
Right.
it's really hard, right? Like you think about it, you start a business, you need a plan. You go to college, you probably have a counselor that gives you your education plan, right? all kinds of things. I was in the military for 10 years, and like we absolutely functioned with a plan, right? So I really appreciate the approach that we employ with like a step-by-step roadmap. So I'm glad that it helped you. Okay, so you talked about several things like a savings account, a budget. You discussed the weekly check-in, which is like super important. And when I get off this call, I'm absolutely gonna give Dylan his kudos for instilling that in you, and the fact that you're still doing that after starting in 2021 is like turning on all of my coaching happiness. So I love that for you. But what would you say is like your favorite tool that you learned about or used within our program? Like, are you fond of like the automatic tracker? Do you like the check-in? Do you like the roadmap? Was it the mindset stuff? Like, what do you think is your best takeaway or tool in the program?
I think for me, I mean, I like the classes. I'm a big
Mm.
student educational person, and so the
Okay.
classes were very helpful. But the biggest thing for me was probably the roadmap and being able to, for me, I'm a very visual learner, and so being able to make a list and say like, okay, in 5 months, I want to be able to accomplish this off my roadmap, and
Mm.
just seeing the numbers add up and going to, that whatever priority is on your roadmap was very, I think that was my biggest, I still use it to this day. I look at it and just being able to like check the boxes off the roadmap, is super exciting to me. And I liked kind of the budget setup that Centsei sets up because I mean, most people have a general idea of how to make a budget, but I really didn't. I
Mhm.
didn't really know how to categorize it, so to speak. And so
Sure.
to do that and then putting in, your income and then splitting that into, okay, you put this portion of your income onto your bills, then you have your emergency savings accounts, emergency fund, and then you've got, $500 left over. You can either put that towards your debts, or now I'll probably put it toward the house improvement projects or maybe buying a nicer car. I don't know,
Yeah.
things like that. And so it's kind of nice to just, where every dollar is going. That's why I
Yeah.
like it.
That's sweet. So very, very much a systems person. Just out
Yes.
of curiosity, what do you do for a living, if you don't mind?
I work on a golf course. I'm an assistant golf course superintendent. So it's basically like managing a tiny city on land. I mean, very operational, managing a bunch of people. And the biggest thing for us is organization and uh, lists. So, Sensei kind of helped me out in that aspect. And
Sure.
I even find that, some of the setups in Sensei can help me in my job, with just learning how to categorize different uh different projects and, whatever I do at work. But yeah, I work outside on a golf course.
That's really cool. That's amazing. So I guess I wouldn't have associated, forgive me because I've never been there, but I guess I would have never associated Minnesota with golfing, right? Because it's like
Right.
so cold up there all the time.
Yeah, it's
But
currently in the 40s, so it's cooling down.
yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that there's been a little bit of crossover as well. I have several clients that are small business owners or in managerial capacities, and that's interesting. I don't know why we don't advertise that more, but I've seen a lot of people have positive crossover. To the point where I've even had clients open up their own like automatic tracker. We use the Monarch software, which is coming after the Mints, but they use that for their own business, which is really cool to see that they're implementing a lot of what we teach on a business level too.
Yeah, I used Mint, and then I think it was had a couple months left, and then we switched over to the Monarch, and I kind of stuck with Mint. I like it, but um, now I've kind of steered away from that, and I don't want to, no offense, spend money on
Yeah.
budgeting my own. So I've just made my own Excel spreadsheet now and stuff. So
No, and that's totally fine. No offense taken, because you still have the process and the protocol, and like I think what makes it so great is that like you learn a skill and then you implement it. And I, on a personal level, like I try to teach this with my clients as well, is that like we have a really strong framework, and the framework I think teaches to everybody's capacity and various levels of financial acumen coming in, but also various situations. But it's those little tweaks that can really, set it off and make it really like feel at home for somebody. So that actually makes me happy that you're doing that, and that it has facilitated you sticking with your goals, because that's epic, honestly.
yeah, I was very proud of my Excel spreadsheet. It took me a couple hours to make. I was showing my friends and they're like, this looks like Chinese to me. I'm like, wait, I'll teach you.
Listen, you don't know, this helps.
Right.
I love that. I love that. Okay. So would you say overall, and truly honest response, now that you have been almost 5 years removed from this, would you say that the program from start to finish was worth it to you?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I mean, I would recommend it to anybody.
That's sweet. Okay. Yeah. I feel that way. Obviously I'm biased, right? It's good to hear that other people feel that way as well. I feel that the, vast majority of our clients, recommend it to family, friends, neighbors, church members, coworkers, you name it, right? Just because we do grow by word of mouth, but also because the results are real. So glad to hear that it was good for you too.
And I think, the biggest thing for me that I really appreciate about the program is you can go hire a financial advisor, or you can hire some individual, and most of the time, it may feel like it to me, but they just kind of want your money, and
Yeah.
That's what you're paying for. But from Centsei, it really felt like I'm paying for what I put in. The effort that I put in is what I get out of it.
Yes.
And you guys never once did I feel like my money wasn't worth it. So that to me I really liked.
I appreciate that. That's actually maybe one of the best compliments I think I've ever heard. And in terms of like the role of a financial coach. And I think just mirroring that transparency, I think one of the things that really sets us apart is that we're not commission based.
Right.
Which is really interesting, right? Like exactly like you said, if you're a financial advisor, you're paid based off of the amount of assets under management and all of those things. But for us, we receive a static rate. And for me, my ultimate goal is to help you cross the finish line and get the results you came for. So I'm glad that comes through. And it sounds like Dylan did the exact same thing. So that's great.
Yeah, very good coach. I'd recommend him to anyone.
Oh, that's kind. I'm sure he'll see this and be happy to hear that. It's interesting too, just on that note, talking about growth. Like I was, oh gosh, I believe I was one of the first 4 or 5 coaches.
Oh, wow.
I'd say Dylan was, I want to say, with the company 3 or 4 months ahead of me. And since that time, we have grown now to, I believe, 24 coaches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it has really come a long way, but we continue to find great talent, and I'm honestly in shock and awe at the type of people that come work. We even have like certified financial planners, and like it's been really cool to just watch the evolution. So
yeah, I was I don't know if I was in the beginning. I don't know what year you guys started, but it was definitely like in the beginning. And it's been cool to kind of watch the expansion of the program and see more people involved. I'm on the Facebook page and all of that, and it's really cool.
That's awesome. So I guess final question here, just to kind of get like a wrap up. If you, I know you feel that the program was worth it and that you recommend it. If somebody were to watch this video, let's say like a prospective client, and they're like, okay, I've seen what Tina can do and I want to replicate that. Like, I feel like I can do this with coaching help. What advice would you give to a client that is just about to start their Centsei journey? Like, what would you, how would you get them prepped up and ready to roll, if you just in your own words?
My Biggest piece of advice would be to try your very best to not stress out about what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, you really have to prioritize what is most important to you, whether that's paying off your highest interest debt, whatever that may be, or if it's just buying a house or buying a car. Don't stress about it because all of the strategies and knowledge that you'll accumulate with this program will get you there. There's no timeline. I mean, nothing. You shouldn't feel rushed to try and do something. I mean, obviously you want to set in place kind of, I'd like to do this by 6 months or whatever, but I would not stress about it. I mean, you have to be patient and, use your knowledge and use the coach's expertise and trust them that they'll help you get there.
I love that. And just sorry, follow up on that. And I should have, I guess, asked this first, but one of the biggest sticking points that we continue to see when people are like on the fence of whether or not they want to get coaching help or they want to try to go at it alone is obviously the price of the program, right? Because you're paying, it's over 24 months. People look at it as this giant commitment. Like, can you speak to that? And I just, in whatever capacity you want to.
Yeah. I mean, I can totally feel for that. I myself was, I saw the price and I was like, phew, I don't know, little hesitant, but the way I did it was I split it up and I did monthly payments. And the coaches help you, but you put that payment into your budget. So it's accounted for, where the money's going, so worth it. I mean, to me, I don't know, it was worth it. I'd pay it again.
Yeah. I think it pays for itself over time, right? Yeah. Awesome. Well, anything else that you want to add about your experience, or do you feel like we covered it all?
No, I mean, I had a great experience, and even though I'm not in the program anymore, I mean, I can still contact Dylan, and I even had a meet with him, a couple months ago. I just said, hey, I came across this money. Yeah. I just want to figure out, what is the best, strategy to use this. And he's like, let's do a one-time call. It was perfect for me. I mean, I didn't want to commit again to a type of program or anything, or a couple classes. And, that to me meant a lot, that you guys are still there for clients even after they're through with the program.
Yeah, man, I'm really happy he did that. I was in a similar situation. I had a gentleman call me one time. He was closing on his first ever home, and he was just like, can you like talk me through this? And I was like, what? And he was like, I just need to like talk to somebody about this. And I'm like, God, I got you. And so it's just, I don't know, it's so interesting to like have somebody outside of your four walls and just like help you out when you need it. So it makes me so happy that you were able to do that. And just congratulations on paying off loans, cars, buying a house. I mean, like you really are living the American dream. Like that's impressive.
Yeah. And I mean, even though, my debt right now is my house, I don't view it as that because of all of the other debts I've paid off to get to this point. And so, my next goal is obviously to pay off my house, but I'm not as stressed about it because I've taken care of the other things, the little things that, add up over time, and just learning how to tackle your money, honestly, is your best tool in your tool chest.
Totally. Yeah. All your consumer debt is gone, and now you're just paying off on your home, which is a great place to be.
So,
well, I am so thankful that you took the time to pop on here. I really appreciate it. Just giving your honest opinion and just, meeting with a internet stranger and just, talking about the Centsei program. So
absolutely. I'm more than happy to help out and give advice for anybody else who wants to take the class, and tell them to just take the class.
Well,
good choice.